Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? It is Leland from Aegisbrand Studios here again to continue on with my solo Kingdom Death campaign. If you've been following along so far, you guys will have seen a couple of white lion hunts, and we've seen some success, a couple deaths. But we are about to go hunt something different today, and that is the Screaming Antelope. So why don't you join along with me and we see how the survivors of the settlement of Magrathea make out in this next hunt. Let's go take a look at the table. And we have our survivors getting ready to go on the hunt, and we are going to be going after the Screaming Antelope this time. So going to do this one up just to change it up a little bit. Going to get a little bit more hides, acanthus plants, that sort of stuff. See what I can harvest from him. Now I did make a quick change from some of the gear I made at the end of last round. I decided to make a rawhide vest at the end of the last settlement phase. I decided instead to use the two remaining hides I had and make one set of pants and one set of gloves as well, or sorry, boots, just so I can get another full set. Just so we're gonna have two full sets of rawhide going into this fight, and then I can start hunting down some other sets. So anyway, let's get going. So our four survivors from left to right, we have I'm a Human. She's going to be rocking the Sword of Silence, a full set of rawhide gear, as well as some monster grease. Next to her, we have Amy, who is going to be rocking the King Spear and a full set of rawhide gear, as well as monster grease. We have, after that, one of our new survivors, we're going to be running Marvin, and he just has a bone blade, bone darts, cloth, and monster grease. And then next to him, we have Slatty Bartfest, who's going to have cloth, bone blade, and a catgut bow, as well as monster grease. And we will depart out on the first hunt event, and we will get teething. Survivors find a trail of large, rotting teeth littering the ground. Each survivor may scavenge. Roll 1d10 on the table. So I'm either going to cut myself, I'm going to find nothing, or I'm going to find one large flat tooth, Screaming Antelope resource. Excellent. So each survivor is going to do this. So we'll start with I'm a Human, and she will find nothing. Amy will, on a 6, find nothing. Marvin will find nothing. And Slutty Bartfest. Hey, there we go. I'm going to get one of the large flat tooth resources. And I just noticed I actually have a special hunt event here. And we're going to get herb gathering. Okay, all survivors consume herbs and berries. All survivors gain +1 survival. Fantastic. So for this event, basically each survivor will nominate a number of d10s and roll them. If I roll any doubles, the score will become a 0. And at the very end of it, otherwise add all your die results to determine the gathering score. And then I'll take all of them and do an herb exploration. So let's see what we got here. So we're going to start with I'm a Human. She's going to nominate to roll 3 d10. And we're going to get 6, 7, and 7. So that's actually going to result in a 0 overall, it looks like. We're going to move on to Amy, and I think she's going to nominate 4. And that's going to be a 0 because we have the 2 Lottie Bartfest is going to do 3. And once again, I'm getting some doubles here. And let's just move on to Marvin immediately. And hey, there we go. So there's some different numbers here. So we have 1, 9, and 6, so that's going to be a total of 16, which gives us a fresh acanthus resource, and all survivors gain +1 survival. So, fantastic. Sadly, no exploring on the swamp, though. Moving on to the next hunt event, and we will have the grazing field. Acanthus leaves sprout from the crevices in the stone ground. The survivors spend time gathering and eating the small leaves. Each survivor may heal 1 hit location of their choice. Oh, okay, well, I'm already all geared up. No sickle, so no fresh acanthus, and then I roll a random hunt event. So the whites will be the 10s, and we are going to get 13. So on a 13, it is an overload. So the event revealer, which in this case I believe would have been Slatty Bartfest, is going to lose 1d10 survival. Oh, great. Just after he capped out. So he'll lose 1 survival and go down to 3. And then they're going to gain 1 random disorder. And then the event revealer, I guess we roll a d10 here. And see what happens. So on a 5, the depths of your misery are deeper than you could have ever imagined. Gain disorders until you have 3 of them. Lose all survival. So Slotty Bartfest will have no survival for this fight, and he's going to be capped down on disorders. And I do not have collective toils, so that is where the event ends. Now Slotty Bartfest already has 2 disorders, Prima Donna and Anxiety, so we'll find out what the last one is. and he will get tunnel vision. So if you spend an action, you may only activate weapons. Or, I think that's actually a surge. Yeah, so if I surge, I may only activate weapons. To be honest, I didn't know you could actually do other things with a surge, so there we go. And we have our Screaming Antelope. He is all set up. Now, I think I've gotten this board set up. The acanthus plants on the card say they're supposed to be about 6 squares away from everything, but I don't think the zone is actually big enough to support that. So I treated it as each card has 2 plants, and they need to be at least 6 squares away from everything. So we got a bug patch, we got a couple pieces of tall grass over here, and then we have 1 pile of debris. And it will be the Screaming Antelope's turn to go first. So let's see how this hunt goes. So the very first action for the Screaming Antelope will be to slam. So he's going to look for the closest knockdown survivor. There are none. So furthest threat in field of view. So that is basically going to be all 4 of the survivors. And he is basically going to do a move and attack. Oh, but because no one is in range, he's not actually going to care. So instead he's going to do his instinct, which is to graze. So it's going to full move to the closest acanthus plant and end its turn. If it's on or adjacent to the acanthus plant, archive the terrain and heal 1 wound. So yeah, he'll just go boop, like that, and he'll just eat that acanthus plant. That'll take us to our turn, and I'm going to have Marvin there harvest the debris. I'm really hoping for a 10 plus here, because then they'll give me a scrap sword, which is a really nice, useful weapon here. Hey, okay, got myself a 10. So Marvin just got a scrap sword. So there's the scrap sword, so it's speed 2, 5 plus to hit, 3 strength, and on a perfect hit, it actually gets plus 4 strength for the rest of the attack. And of course, if I can link up all the grids there, it will be extra useful because it'll gain deadly. So that will definitely go nice with his not having to use his bone blade there. But yeah, nice move there. And then he'll use his movement. He's just going to move into the corner of the grass, staying in it. But I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's almost close enough to use his catgut bow. So we got to find a way to draw the antelope in a little bit more. And I just realized Slutty Bartfest should have actually gone first because of his prima donna, but it's not going to change what I'm doing because he's just going to move up to there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to use Amy because she has a good chunk of evasion, 2 evasion, plus a good chunk of armor, plus her monster grease, so she's looking at 3 evasion, and I think she's going to be the sacrificial lamb to try and attract the Screaming Antelope to get closer here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to get I'm a Human into a good position and draw the antelope closer. So for the next antelope's turn, we are going to get Bolt. So once again, no knockdown survivors. Okay, so furthest threat in range, so the only threat is in range is Amy, and it's going to be a move and attack. Oh wait, hold on a second, Bolt. Okay, so apparently he's going to move in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's going to attack Amy, and then as soon as that's done, he's going to full move away from the... Okay, so the Screaming Antelope is then going to do a straight line away from all the survivors in a full move. So I'm probably going to have to get some dashes in here, just to try and get some hits in while I still can, some dash and some surges. So this is a speed 1, accuracy 2+, damage 1, so needing 5s against Amy because of the monster grease and her inherent evasion, which he'll hit with. But it's just 1 damage, and that's going to get her in the waist. She has a piece of cloth there, so she'll just lose a little bit of armor. And because there is a break there before he moves, I'm going to dash with I'm a Human. She's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then she is going to surge and get an attack in with her, what's it called? With the Sword of Silence. So this is a speed 2. Needing 5 pluses, 4 pluses because I'm in the blind spot here. And she has +2 strength, so this is going to be a total of 8. So anything but 1s will wound. And of course there's at least 1 wound there. But 1 hit, which is going to be a hit location of the furry tail. So let's... Sorry, I just had a brief pause there. For some reason I was getting a little confused. But no, a 4+ does hit with the scrap sword in the blind spot. So to wound anything but a 1... 3, That will wound. No critical, sadly, so no extra gear. But it is getting rid of one of the AI cards. And now that that's done, I think I'm going to surge with Slutty Bartfest, or rather Dash. And no, I actually don't know. I'm going to give this a thought. Okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Slutty Bartfest is going to dash, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Marvin is going to dash, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason I'm doing that is because part of the ability, or part of the Antelope's thing here, is to full move the Screaming Antelope in a straight line away from all survivors. So basically, he's going to go 1, 2, going to get stuck at the wall there, and then, we'll just, I don't know, we'll go this way. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's moved away, but he's keeping him nice and close for me to be able to continue to hunt him. Now I'm just going to quickly take care of this. For the 2 survival that I'm a Human used, she does have the full set of rawhide gear, so on a 5+, she does get to keep that survival. So yeah, so she'll still be maxed out, but both Slutty Bartfest and Marvin will be down. Oh shoot. Slutty Bartfest could not have done that. He had no survival. So what's going to happen is he's going to actually have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that way, away from as many of them as possible. I think I'm doing that right. So he'll be over there instead, and Marvin will have lost his survival. Going into our survivors' turns, Marvin is going to use his catgut bow against the Screaming Antelope. Now he has to use both his movement and his activation for this, but he's hitting on 7s. So 1 hit, and that's going to be getting the antelope in the giant mouth. Now thankfully I'm using the catgut bow here, because if I was using a melee weapon, he was basically going to eat my weapon or eat my hands. So that's kind of good. So Marvin has +1 strength, +3 from the bow, so needing a 4+ to wound. Hey, critical hit! So I'm going to get 1 Screaming Antelope resource, and then a persistent injury, vomit blood. Whenever the monster collides with a survivor, they are drenched in blood and gain 1d10 insanity. And my resource I drew was a spiral horn. We're going to go in with Amy now, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3, like so. And she's going to use her Speed 2 King Spear, hitting on 5+ because of the blind spot. So 1 hit on a 7 there. And she'll be hitting the gnarled horns. So if I fail to wound in this case, she's going to get her weapon stuck and then suffer knockback 5. But with a strength of 3 + 2 from her own native strength and whatnot, she just needs a 3 to wound. So this should be pretty easy. Oh, jeez, thank you. Okay, so she does wound, takes away another AI card. No critical, so no extra resources, but still, that is another successful hit. I'm a Human is going to go 1, or actually, before Amy ends her turn, she's going to dash and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then she's going to start her turn off, move into 1, and take a swing with her Sword of Silence. So once again, needing 4s to hit. That's going to be 2 hits. And what are we hitting here? We're going to get the Restless Chest and the Giant Teeth. We're going to start by going after the Giant Teeth because of the super dense location, the failure attempt there. So, needing, 6 + 2? Yeah, so anything but a 1. 7, that'll be a wound. No critical, sadly, but that is another one down. Moving on to the Restless Chest, and in this case, the reaction is, if I wound, the Screaming Antelope is going to face the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. And that is going to wound. So that's another AI card, but he is going to spin around and cause some damage. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So he's plowing through quite a few survivors. And because of the giant mouth, we do have some insanity that's going to be gained here. So because of the vomit blood, so Amy is going to gain 7 insanity. I'm a Human is going to gain 9. And Slutty Bartfest is going to gain 10. And in addition, I'm a Human and Amy are going to be knocked down. And then Slutty Bartfest, not only is he knocked down, but he's going to be knocked back 5 spaces as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right against the wall there. So over like that. So gonna have to do some work here to get everyone back up. Now Slutty Barfest hadn't activated yet, but because he's knocked down, he is not able to do anything. So that is going to take us into the Antelope's next turn, and we are going to get a back kick. So no one's in the blind spot, so closest threat in range. So that is going to be poor old Marvin there, and he is going to move and attack. So, and in this case, he's going to end up in the blind. So turn the monster so target is in a blind spot. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he'll turn around, and he's just going to kick Marvin in the head there. I think what Marvin's going to do to react, though, he is going to actually dash and just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so, because that means the Antelope is only going to make it to there and not be able to attack. That brings us into the next turn, and Marvin is going to start by encouraging I'm a Human to get up, and then he will, I guess he's going to move, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. I'm a Human is going to encourage Amy to get up, if I can do this properly, and she's going to see if her survival sticks around, which it does, so she's still at 4, and then she is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Amy is going to encourage Slutty Bartfest to get up, and then she's going to go 1, 2, 3, because she only has 3 movement because of one of her disorders. And then at the end of her turn, I think I'm a Human is going to surge to make an attack, and she will get to keep her survival there, and she'll swing in with her Sword of Silence. 2 shots hitting on 4s, 2 wounds, and we're going to get the, we're getting close to probably the trap, Restless Tiny Hands and Restless Ear. We'll start with the Restless Ear, so once again, anything but a 1. So 2, that will wound. I was hoping for more criticals. I wanted more resources here. And then the Tiny Hands, again, anything but a 1, so a 3, that will wound it. And we're actually moving through this guy pretty quickly, so that's not too shabby. Slutty Bartfest then is just going to move forward, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. Actually, I just realized he can't do anything because he would have had to act first this turn. I gotta remember about Prima Donna. I'm gonna have to get rid of that damn thing. So all he was able to do was basically stand up from the use of Survival from Amy, which I think I forgot to roll for to see if she keeps it. Nope, she's gonna lose that. She goes down to 3 Survival. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be the end of the turn. Actually, before the end of the turn, I'm going to use some Survival with Marvin, and he's gonna swing in with the Scrap Sword. So, 5 pluses to hit. 1 hit, no perfect hit sadly, but it is what it is. And we are going to whack at the giant tongue. And we're going to see if we wound him. And so Marvin has +1 strength, Scrap Sword is 3, so need 4s to wound. So that is going to fail to wound. So nothing happens. Bringing us to the Antelope. And the next one we're going to see is Chow Down. So, if there are no Canthus plants on the showdown board, discard Chow Down and perform a basic action. Well, there are. So he's going to full move to the closest Canthic plant. He's actually right next to him. And he's going to consume it, and he's going to heal 1d5. So, let's see here. So he's going to get back 2 of his AI cards. And, fantastic. And not only that, but I have to place Chow Down on top of the monster AI deck instead of discarding it. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to get those wounds added back in, and then before... No, I'm going to get them added back in, and then we'll just go into my turn, and hopefully I can take that out. So I want to get rid of that card, so we're going to swing in with I'm a Human. 2 attacks, 4 pluses. Both are going to hit, and perfect hit. I don't think she gets anything for a perfect hit, sadly. No, it doesn't look like it. So, 2 hits. We're going to get the Restless Shoulder, and we're going to get the Restless Inner Thigh. We're going to start with the Restless Inner Thigh, so anything but a 1 to wound it. So 2, so that's going to wound. In addition, the monster's powerful... so my attack disables the monster's powerful running muscles, so -1 movement token. So that's quite useful there. And we got rid of Chow Down. And then we're going to go into Restless Shoulder. So once again, that is a wound. And the reaction on a wound, the blow clips the screaming antelope's shoulder and it jumps back. Turn to face the attacker and without turning, move the monster one space directly away from the attacker. Cancel all hits now out of range. So he's just going to go back like so. And then she is just going to move out of the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Amy's going to go 1, 2, 3. And actually she'll just go right to there and go in with her King Spear here. So needing 6 pluses. Nada. So she is done. And once again, I forgot good old Slutty Bartfest. He's just moving forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He really can't do anything to interact with this match right now anyway. Although he does have Bone Darts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So let's just quickly get that in the way. Bone Darts. Hey, what a surprise. It misses. So he has no bearing whatsoever. And then Marvin is just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Back there. He's going to use his Scrap Sword. So hitting on 5 pluses. Or 4 pluses because of the blind spot. 1 hit, but it's a perfect hit. So plus 4 strength to this one. So basically, he's going to have a hard time wounding. Only a 1. And we're going to get the Restless Flank. And 3, that's going to be a wound because plus 1 strength for him, plus 3 for the sword, and then 4 for the perfect hit. Reflex, the monster is going to turn and face the attacker, like so. No resource sadly, but it does get rid of another AI card. And I think what's going to happen is Amy is then going to surge, or not Amy, sorry, I'm a Human is going to surge, and go in with the sword, and get 1 hit because I'm not in a blind spot or anything like that. We're going to get the Furry Throat, and on a 3, so we are going to wound it, no critical, so no extra resource there, but that is another wound down, and then we're going to spend a survival, oh, and does she keep her survival? She does. And then Amy is going to surge, and she loses that survival, so she's down to 2. Using the King Spear, she'll get 1 hit. Kind of getting worried, I haven't seen the trap yet. And we're going to get Restless Rump. So, needing 3s to wound. That is a wound. So the Restless Rump goes away. There is a reaction to this, though. So basically, the monster is going to turn to face Amy. And he is going to do a full move forward. So he is going to collide with I'm a Human. So she's going to get knocked down. And he has -1 move token. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so. But that will end the survivor's turn, and we'll go into the next turn for the Screaming Antelope. We are down to the last AI card for the Antelope, and we have a back kick. So no one's in the blind spot, so it's going to be closest threat in range, which looks to be Amy. And he's basically going to move over, and then he's going to do a back kick into Amy's head. So 1, 2, 3, like so. And it's going to be a speed 1, hitting on a 3+, plus her evasion and monster grease, so hitting on 5s. That's going to hit. And this is a damage 3, so this one can actually do a little bit of hurt to me. Getting on the legs. She has 2 armor on the legs, so it's going to be a light injury, but she is still standing. At the end of the monster's turn, I'm a Human is going to get back up, and we're going to go to Slutty Bartfest. Well, I'm remembering this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's just going to throw in his Bone Darts to try and wound. Hey, that's going to hit. We're going to reveal the Restless back. And the Bone Darts is 3 plus 1 strength from him. So we're looking at 4s to wound. And it's going to wound as well. So no extra little thing there, but we are getting rid of back kick. Next wound is going to take him out. So I think what we're going to do... I'm going to try and take him out with Marvin here, because I don't think he's wounded with the bow yet, and I'd like to be able to... Oh, well, he's not going to be able to choose proficiency in that anyway. Okay, so we're going to do I'm a Human. She's going to go into the blind spot, hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Don't be a trap. Oh! Crying out loud. Alright, there's the trap. The Screaming Antelope panics. Its undermouth's unleashing an inhuman wail. It bucks wildly and leaps into the air. The attacker is doomed, so no survival being spent on I'm a Human. All survivors adjacent to the monster suffer 2 brain damage. Now they're good and insane anyway, so that doesn't matter. But knock back 5 and are knocked down. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I gotta look this up, but I know Slutty Bartfest is at least knocked down, so let's see if he gets knocked back as well. So Slutty Bartfest is just knocked down, and then the last part of this, the monster lands on its belly and begins to slide on its teeth. Turn the monster directly away from the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. On a collision, non-death survivors gain 1 random disorder. Okay, so there's no one in front of him, so he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's kind of running away from me, so this is going to be a little annoying to catch up to him now. So I think what's going to happen is at the end of all that, before I'm a Human ends her turn, I'm going to use Marvin's last bit of survival, and he's going to encourage Amy to stand up. And then Amy will use some survival, which she will lose, so she's down to 1. She's going to encourage I'm a Human to stand up. And then she's going to move, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think right there. I'm a Human will then encourage Slutty Bartfest to stand up, and she will finally lose a survival. And that will be the survivor's turn. Quick correction, Amy's only going to move to there because she only has movement 3 until I can get rid of that disorder. But that will take us to the Antelope's turn. And we're down to the basic action. He has no one in range that's knocked down, so he is actually just going to graze. So basically, he's just going to do a full move towards the nearest acanthus plant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets him as close as he can go because he does have the -1 token. And thankfully, he's not able to get any health back, but that will go into our turn. I'm going to start with Marvin, and he's just going to fire his catgut bow into the Screaming Antelope here. So he is hitting on 7s. 2 hits, excellent. And we're going to get the Restless Tiny Hands and the Restless Back. We're going to start with the Restless Back, so needing a 4+ to wound. Nope. And the Restless Tiny Hands, that's the wound, and that is the Antelope finished off. So the survivors are going to charge in there and basically plunder it for all it has, and then we're going to go back and check out what happens in the settlement. First things first, let's find out what we got from it. We get some hide, love juice, that's good for intimacy, bones, excellent, need more of those, and a broken lantern. And then from him we got shank bone, bladder, pelt, and a large flat tooth. So the survivors return. So we're going to have 4 endeavors here. Now we got to update the timeline. So this is Lantern Year 3, and we are going to get the Glossolalia. So the settlement calls out to the returning survivors in a chorus of unknown tongues. Each survivor in the settlement begins to speak in their own incomprehensible language until all the sounds of the settlement are replaced by never-ending babble. Nominate 1 survivor. I'm going to nominate Slutty Bartfest here because he can't actually spend any survival going forward, and there's something here that means he cannot encourage if I roll on it. We're going to get a 3+. The survivor begins to argue endlessly with everyone -3 endeavors. Slutty Bartfest, you are just a jerk. So I only have 1 endeavor to play with this round. So moving on, no death count to do. Milestone events though. Oh yeah, that jerk Slutty Bartfest did actually hit an age milestone, so let's see what happens for him. So let's see what Slutty Bartfest gets here. Roll on an 8, so 1 random fighting art. And it looks like he just became a berserker for us. So once per showdown, you may spend an action to suffer bash and frenzy brain trauma. Oh, that's not too bad, I guess. Next up, we are going to spend our one and only endeavor to innovate, I guess. So we're going to use a bone, an organ, and a hide, which I should have. Yeah, so bone, organ, and hide. And we're going to use symposium. So we're actually going to draw 4 of these and choose one. So we get shrine, storytelling, scarification, and nightmare training. None of them speak to me hugely, so I think I'm going to go with storytelling just because it does give me an additional survival limit. But it also says if I spend 2 endeavors, we can do a story time and either gain an understanding, gain some insanity, or get the white speaker event. And now we have another event here. It is the Hooded Knight. I have gained my 5th innovation. So in this case, the Hooded Knight, a stranger emerges from the darkness. So if any survivor has the Twilight Sword, which we don't, we're going to roll on Mysterious Agenda and find out what happens. Let's see what we get on the result. 7. Okay. So on a 7, the Hooded Knight forces a tattered parcel into the hands of the returning survivor with the most hunt XP. So that is going to be Amy, the wise hero of the lantern. The Hooded Knight leaves with unfinished business. So I'm going to add the Hooded Knight to my timeline 4 years from now. And if there are no returning survivors, okay, so don't have to worry about that. So the tattered parcel, the survivor gains the Twilight Sword rare gear placed in their grid now. The survivor may select Twilight Sword as a weapon proficiency type. This weapon is cursed, so it may not be removed. So Amy just became my Twilight Knight. So that's actually kind of cool. So let's dig that out and see what happens. So these are the contents of the tattered parcel. So the blue lantern is sentient and cursed. For an action, I suffer 2d10 brain damage and reveal hit location cards until you reveal the trap and put them down in the same order. Okay, that's kind of neat. Considering she has like 16 brain insanity right now, that's not too bad. The dormant Twilight Cloak, so that's 3 armor. Looks like it's a headpiece. Unique, replaceable accessory. Ignore sentient on all gear, but cannot depart with this if I have 3+ understanding. No problem. And then the Twilight Sword. So speed 1 to hit is a asterisk there, but it's damage 9. Slow, cursed, cumbersome, sentient, irreplaceable. Devastating 2 when fighting the Watcher. And then the accuracy is 9 minus the Twilight Sword proficiency level. So she's going to have a hard time hitting until she's made a couple whacks with it, but that is definitely worth working on. Excellent. And with that, no more endeavors. All I have left is some stuff to maybe make some more weapons or armor. I was really hoping to maybe make some leather work in here, but I have not gotten the ammonia up and running yet, which is kind of a pain. Actually, yeah, I remember doing that. So that's kind of a pain that I do not have the leather worker up, because I really wanted a shield, because the next hunt is going to be a very special one. It is going into Lantern Year 4, and that is going to be my first Nemesis encounter. So our survivors are going to be pushed to the brink as the Butcher comes to pay them a visit. So be sure to tune in next week with the next video coming up. As always, love to hear from you guys. Be sure to leave some comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit me up on social media. And as always, if I got anything wrong here, definitely let me know. And I will figure out what's being built here, if anything, and you guys will see about it in the next video. As always, happy wargaming.